Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core. Something I have not said in a while.
Yeah.
This is episode 130, if you guys are keeping score, and we are here to talk about Loki Season 2, which I'm super excited to talk about. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you?
I like that you think somebody is not just keeping count, but keeping score of us
sure.
versus like some other reaction podcast.
Well, they've done 130, but these guys only 128. Oh, it's a close one. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe it's kind of a race, right? There's podcasts out there that have over 1,000 episodes and stuff, and I'm always just like, man, the like either the like dedication to do that for so long, or the amount of episodes you have to do a week to get to that number so fast is just
right.
Wild.
We both have full-time jobs.
Working class people. But yeah, it has been a while since we've been able to record here. I think the last thing we discussed on the show was the Venture Brothers movie, which was a while ago. So I'm glad to be back here for the Reactor Core. Of course, we do a whole bunch of other podcasts on the Whatnauts. You guys can always go check out. But yeah, Venture Burrows.
You're right. Yeah, July 31st was the last time we were here. There's been stuff in the meantime. You liked Ahsoka. I don't know. And I do not know that much about Star Wars. I could not join you for that one. So yeah, we have had a quiet period.
Indeed. It's also been some time since Loki Season 1. Melissa, what was your excitement like building up for Season 2 here?
Loki was my favorite of the MCU shows on Disney Plus, and I think one of the reasons why is that show knew it was going to have this Season 2. So Season 1 felt a lot better paced than these standalone single season stories. So I thought, hopefully this will just deliver on more of the same, and then we'll get a more complete story. Absolutely. I haven't heard word of a Season 3 at this time. It doesn't seem unlikely.
Yeah, we know we did just get some news this past week that Marvel TV is kind of shaking things up. I think especially coming off the back of the writer's strike, they are changing the way they make TV shows. There was a pretty revealing article about just kind of how they tried to reinvent the wheel for making television shows, and it maybe wasn't working as well as they thought it has been. So yeah, it is interesting that Loki is, I think, one of two, because we know What If was also getting a second season too.
Yes,
but those were the only ones that we knew going in there would be a second season to, and it did feel more complete. It did feel like it had an arc, and that the cliffhanger at the end was just like, can't wait for Season 2 now. It's gonna be so good. So yeah, I am excited. I'm happy to be here. This was also very high up on my I cannot wait to watch this show list. So good stuff. We're finally here. So yeah, this week we are going to be discussing episodes 1 and 2. That's kind of how we're gonna group our episodes on this, 2 episodes at a time. So we won't be here week in and week out, but that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I feel like that just means there's more meat to discuss and talk about. So there we go. Melissa, episode 1, right back in the action. How did you feel about this first one?
I really enjoyed episode 1. It's what I loved in Season 1. The aesthetic is there. Now we get to go to all of these new places in the TVA. That's one of the most exciting things for me about this show. Rewatching Season 1 in preparation for Season 2, I'm like, this just looks incredible. I love the look and the feel of this show so much. Yeah. This is a throw it on repeat in the background, cozy comfort kind of show. So we've got more just wonderful set pieces we get to live in. We get to meet OB, see OB's little workshop, the loom room, all these new places. And then episode 2 continues with that. I thought it was interesting that episode 1 was very seafoam and episode 2 is very orange. So
Yes.
I'm wondering if the other episodes in the season are all going to have a signature color.
We'll go back to like purple for Sylvie or green for Loki or like
A yellow McDonald's world.
yeah, like a deep blue for Owen Wilson and his jet skis right out there on the ocean. Hopefully.
The lovely cyan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought episode 1 was really good. Picked up just immediately after the events of season 1. I felt like I was right there, right back in the action. So for someone like me who's always talking about these shows and discussing them, it felt just like the next right. I mean, it is the next episode, but it just felt like I was right back there, and it didn't have to like ease itself back in. It was just like, bam, here we are. So I loved that a lot. I like that there is this kind of like this sense of panic because the timelines have changed and everything is in chaos. The timeline is branching and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it felt hectic. It was fast paced. It was a lot of stuff just being thrown at you. But some of this new stuff is fantastic. Like you said, we get to see more of the TVA, which I know it is meant to be kind of this like almost claustrophobic liminal space in this like brutalist government building that exists outside of time and space, right?
Yeah,
but
it's not even liminal. A liminal space is a space where where people are supposed to pass through, and you're seeing it in a time of emptiness, like a school hallway,
sure,
or like a kid's play place after hours. Everything in the TVA seems so crammed. Like there are not empty spaces. There isn't room.
File
it's not empty enough to get to be liminal.
Stacked everywhere.
Right? Yeah. It's entirely built for business. I don't know where anybody goes to just like walk, rest, reflect.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously don't go down to the I forget what the room is
the
called.
Automat.
Yeah, the Automat, where they can get all those little pre-made pie slices and
17 minutes per pie. Don't stay longer.
Good stuff. But yeah, I enjoy all of that. Oh, baby is fantastic.
Lovely.
It steals every scene. It's just so sincere, but also has this like mysterious air about him that he doesn't really fit in with the rest of everyone. And that's both in his like personality and the way everyone treats their job, but also like he seems like a man out of time in the sense like he's not really ever in one spot chronologically, which is something that I think I would potentially say about Kang in the comics, is that he is often like, wait, has this happened yet? Is this the like is this the timeline when this happens? And I know there's some theories out there of like, is he like the original like man at the end of the He Who Remains? Is there something going on with that? But yeah, I had a blast with these. I did think on one hand, as much as I liked the like fast pace of season or of the opener here to season 2, I also know there's 6 episodes total, and so we're a third of the way in, and I don't want to say worried yet, but because I trust them to stick the landing on this, and I think especially with like Avengers King Dynasty coming up down the road, I think this is one that they've put a lot of planning into, or at least it feels that way. So I think they're gonna stick the landing, but it was also like breakneck speed. Like, oh my god, what just happened?
I think they do the breakneck speed very well, especially in episode 1 when they've introduced this shaky cam Like the way it is filmed feels very hectic as the story itself is. I think that was a very nice touch. That's very immersive.
Yeah, they get the nice imagery of them trying to stuff all of these timelines into this like nice sacred single timeline, right? And it's kind of the same way where they have all of these ideas, all of these new things that they're trying to cram into this one show, into this one nice cohesive like, here's a story. Hope you enjoy it, right? But yeah, I'm excited to see all the different costumes and time periods they go to. It looks like we'll be in a few of them. Even here in episode 2, we go back to what it was 1977 in the main timeline. And yeah, we get to see we get to see one of the TVA agents trying to pass himself off as a movie star, which then just is, well, there was always a movie star by that name who did that movie, which I know is some Easter egg to some old comic something, but I don't know anything about all of that. But it's just fun to see all of these, like, what were these TVA agents like potential past lives, or what they want their new life to be.
Have you seen the theory from Eric Voss, who we refer to every episode practically, that Jack the McDonald's boy is a past version of Mobius?
I saw the thumbnail of that is like, is he Mobius? Does he know? Right?
What's he cooking?
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I on one hand I can see it, but then I also, with the way that what's his name, X5. The way X5 was acting when he was like, I don't want to go in there, like all that stuff. I was even thinking, what if that's his older self and he kind of knows it, that he was this kind of like nobody who wants to be someone. And that's why he went to this other time and place and was like, I'm a movie star now, right? I can be whoever I want.
Did you watch the video or did you just look at the thumbnail?
I just saw the thumbnail.
So I looked at the thumbnail and I'm like, okay, but then I watched it and I'm like, that's a very good argument. I'm on your side now. He goes through like, here's how the timeline could match up. Owen Wilson is from here. This kid's there. It's close to the same regional accent. Like he goes through the filmic language of this. Mobius enters the frame on the left. Jack enters the frame on the left. Like you can see how often they are framed as like parallels to each other. It's a really good case.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. They do some awesome work to like actually put together a cohesive. Here's why it might actually be that. But yeah, man, I can see some twist happening like that. But I also thought the accent that he had also sounded very similar to X5. I was just like, okay, interesting. But
yeah, we've gotten a lot of X5 so far for this brand new character we don't know very well yet.
Indeed. Who's the other? You guys know I'm always terrible with names. Who's the other TVA agent, the black woman that was in season 1 with them?
B-15.
B-15, thank you.
I like B-15. The more I rewatch the show, I'm like, she's great. I really want to learn more about her.
We do get a small snippet of her in that 1977 time period in this just gorgeous orange dress. She's stunning. But I want to see more of her and who she thought she was in her past life, or who she wants to be in a new life. Because that's something I think we should get into here. This is kind of more spoilers than we've gotten into already. But by the end of episode 2, a number of the TVA agents have gone into all of these splintering timelines and bombed them and basically destroyed them, chopped them off. So we have mostly that main sacred timeline and only a small handful of these ones that are still remaining or are slowly fading.
Yeah.
And so I'm like kind of wondering then what that is. Was that just a way to kind of pare things down? So instead of dealing with like, oh, we have thousands upon thousands, to be like, we have about 35 and we're probably not going to get to all of them here in season 2. We could explore some in a potential season 3 or in a movie, something like that, and just a way to kind of
there is a finite number right now.
The kinds of Kangs that we might see. Right.
You can see a limit of 35 Kangs.
Yeah. The
I thought the
Kangs.
We can see the visualization of when they prune all those timelines. I don't remember anything in season 1 exactly looking like that. When they prune those timelines, it's almost like chunks of them have been severed and are like floating away. And we see them kind of dissolving, but it's almost like something is still intact. It is now detached. Like, I don't know if that really means something, but that's an intriguing idea that there is not a branch timeline, but like a lost, severed timeline. If a whole timeline gets reduced down to an inch long, what is that? Just like everyone there lives in a 3-year loop?
Yeah, who knows? Or it's like the Big O, where they just don't remember anything from behind a certain date, right?
True. I don't know if that's like I am seeing a shot of the thing in progress and then we come back to it next episode and it's like, yep, all those are completely gone. Or if it is as we saw it, where it's like they're not entirely destroyed, but there's like weird fragments of them that are kind of detached and floating around out there.
Like, is this something that Doctor Strange could like magically stitch back into the timeline somehow, or into a timeline?
We're going to take all the remnants and stitch that into one carpet together.
One quilt.
This is we're making a new timeline quilt.
It's great. Yeah. Do you have any kind of like lingering questions of things that caught your attention and was just like, I wonder what that means, or I hope they go down this road a little bit more?
I'm very interested in that Automat with the pies. And this could just be more weird set dressing here at the TVA. But the fact that it's like, it's all one kind of pie. It's just why key lime? Why this like utterly unrealistic, like neon green jello looking key lime pie? Why do you get one token for a pie? Who gives you the token? Who's in charge of handing out the tokens? You only get one token. You only get 17 minutes to eat the pie. Loki and Mobius go down there. They're the only people having pie time. Like, is this some sort of regulated, like, mind control or something? What happens if you eat more or less than your one required pie? If you skip the pie, or if you do barter for tokens and eat 2 pies, what happens to you? Do you ascend to another level? Can you see through the TVA now?
Right, you can see through all of their mosaics and locate all of the Kang statues that are like hidden behind things. Yeah, I don't know. I did see that the new Rockstar's video just kind of described it as like 17 minutes is just kind of a difficult number to like center your life around. Like, you can't be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this for 17 minutes and then I'm gonna like it's just an odd number in the sense that it's strange. I don't know if there's any kind of significance to that, but I'm okay with it not having a significance.
Right. If it's just this, if it's just uncanny snack time, sure. But it's so specific. I am wondering if this has a plot reason for why it's there.
yeah, if there is like a 17-year loop, and that's when they get their minds wiped. So it's just, maybe an important number for some reason. Who knows?
Mhm.
Something that I'm interested in is more of this handbook, this TVA
Yes.
handbook that OB wrote. It is just a tiny little journal, but with the amount of stuff that they're talking about
Yeah.
is in there, that font has to be like
Right,
0.4 font.
Right. It's not a big book. It's the size of a Goosebumps. That's like 120 pages.
Just a small little moleskin journal, right?
Right.
And yeah, I'm interested to know like what all is in there. Is it more of a kind of magical book that whatever page you open to is the page you need? You just happen to turn right
room
there.
of requirement book. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to know more about that. I also, we've only really gotten to see Renslayer in flashbacks or mentions. Her and Miss Minutes, they're missing. Or they're at least like off on their own. Who knows what they're up to? And yeah, I want to know more about them, because Loki plays this audio recording of a conversation between Renslayer and he who remains. I just keep wanting to call him King, no matter what version of he is. He's just King.
Yeah.
And I think implies much more of a relationship. I mean, I think we were kind of guessing at that in season 1. Like, it seems like they had some kind of relationship, something we don't know. This kind of puts that like to text of like, yes, they had seemingly intimate, longer conversations. I have even been seeing some theories out there of like, is she a Kang variant somehow? Or like, is like Miss Minutes a part of her soul, or is like, is Miss Minutes what their kid would have been? And it's like, I don't know. There's all sorts of dumb stuff out there.
Like one of those photo booths at a Dave and Buster's where you go in and you both get your picture taken, and the photo booth morphs them together.
Here's what your kids will look like.
Together we make a little southern orange clock.
Well, howdy, y'all. Yeah, I want to know what they're up to, and that is the thing. With only 4 episodes left, I'm like, man, y'all got some splaining to do.
We do, yeah.
You got a lot.
We know from trailer footage we were going to the 1893 Chicago World's Fair exposition. We're going to see Victor Timely. We're going to see a past Renslayer variant, a Rebecca Tormenay back there. We're going to see a weird ghost Miss Minutes. I'm curious if we're going to get back to the Rebecca Tormenay who's a high school teacher or principal.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And I still just want to unlock the man, the mystery that is Mobius.
Yeah. Where's his love from jet skis coming from? Where will it go? Will he get on one this season? We all got to see it.
Exactly. I think one of the things I remember from season 1 that I particularly liked is when they did have those conversations where they just sat down and discussed like what time meant in the MCU, and if you can exist like this, does this make you a god? What does a god mean in the MCU? If he can live and die and be ripped out of the timelines and stuff like I liked those more philosophical conversations that they had, and they didn't even get too deep in them, right? But they had these small snippets where they did just kind of stop and sit and eat pie, right? And I liked the conversation they were having while they were eating pie here in episode 2 of like, don't you want to find out what your old life was? And he's just like, no, absolutely not. Yeah. He's like, well, are you scared that it would be something bad? And he's like, no, I can handle that. I'm scared of like it was good, because he's like,
Right.
I like what I do here at the TVA. He's satisfied. But what if he could be more satisfied? And he's kind of scared of that, of like, I'm scared of, here's one thing that makes me happy. I'm scared of losing that and having to choose between these two things, right? And yeah, I just think that it gives much more depth to his character.
Yeah.
That, maybe he was some jet ski champion and he gets to see his life and he's just like, oh, so much better, right? I could be doing that.
Or maybe he worries, like, the dream of the jet ski, the constant pursuit of jet ski is more satisfying than actually getting on the jet ski.
Right. It's the dog that's chasing the mailman that just then doesn't know what to do with itself once it finally catches it. Right. Yeah, that's fascinating stuff. I do want to know, like, if he doesn't ever want to find out, do we, the audience, find out, like, through Loki somehow, and we get to know what his past life is without him knowing? I think that would be interesting if they did something like that. Yeah. Still also haven't talked about Sylvie. Loki and Sylvie.
I think it's very cute that she wanders into a McDonald's, doesn't know what one is, but is like, I resonate with this thing. I could make a home here. I could be very good at whatever McDonald's is.
I could own this McDonald's. Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the anime we watched once for the review show, The Devil is a Part-Timer. We're literally the devil from another, like, medieval fantasy realm dimension gets trapped in 21st century Japan, needs a job to live, stumbles into a McDonald's and is like, I'm good at this. I'm going to be good at this. I will roll. If I can't roll in hell, I'll roll the McDonald's.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just kind of flabbergasted by everything. She walks in and is at first kind of confused with, like, what even is this thing? This is not something they had in Asgard.
I've never encountered a grimace before.
Right? Yeah. That weird freaky tree that was back there.
I love the tree.
But yeah, just like then, like, you mean I don't have to hunt this? I don't have to kill it myself. You serve it to me already cooked. You also, like, hang out here and eat. I mean, well, I take back something that I previously said, right? Of just like, she's never been into an establishment like that. I bet you she has, especially in Asgard, just being in some kind of, like, inn or tavern,
right?
Where,
Asgard's gotta have a steakhouse.
Yeah, absolutely, Asgard steakhouse. That's what I want in Thor 5.
No rules, just right.
Right, Asgard steakhouse. What would their bloomin' onion be? I don't even know.
A worthy onion. One worthy onion for the table.
Exactly. Now, do you want that in Mjolnir size, or do you want that in... God,
I want to know what Sylvie's order is. You know, McDonald's has been doing these celebrity orders. Like, this is BTS's favorite sauce. This is what Nicole Kidman is for breakfast or whatever.
To our BTS eating video over there.
I want this. I want this crossover where I can just get the Sylvie order.
Yeah,
and it's not specified. If you know what the Sylvie order is. I don't know what it could be. Does she like? What time of year is it? Is the Shamrock Shake there?
Yeah. I think I saw someone else online saying something about that, and like, what if it was like her meal specifically is like priced in the same way that it was back then, so you could just get it real cheap.
Yeah, 350 feed a family.
Exactly. Yeah, but she's like she turns around and is like taking in the whole McDonald's, and in more ways than one, right? Because she wants to eat everything. She says, "I'll take one of everything." But then she's also looking at the people in there. Like she sees people working. She sees people laughing and having fun among friends. She sees a couple who seems to be on a date. Right? They seem to have this like little romantic table over there at McDonald's.
The lovers table.
Yeah. And she likes it. And I can't wait for her to discover Dairy Queen, especially the one where a young Peter Quill is eating that. And she goes in there and gets to meet him, and it's going to be a party.
Right, just a state away. The timeline is correct. She is the means to get to a St. Charles, Missouri Dairy Queen and meet the Quill family.
Absolutely. So yeah, I like what they do with her, because I think that also gives her more of a, you're not just like a female version of Loki. You are your own character. You have your own wants and needs, which I don't want to say season 1 didn't really have that, because they do have the romantic relationship between Sylvie and Loki, and there's some like loneliness kind of wants between them that way. But this is more like hopes and dreams of like, what do you want for your life now that you've kind of moved on from all of this stuff here?
Now that you've completed your mission, that you have killed he who remains, you have taken down the TVA, you think you've saved these branched timelines, and now you're so grateful to be in a living branched timeline with all these people who might have been killed otherwise. How do you express that? And she's like, well, I'll make them milkshakes.
Yeah. Great.
What a beautiful thing to do.
Great stuff. So yeah, I hope we get more moments like that, because that seems to be a theme, even in the like posters and backgrounds that you see in the TVA. There is a lot of like what are your dreams? Like, stay on track, don't dream, like, or outside when they're in these timelines, the like posters and stuff that they see how have this stuff of like, what is your life like kind of stuff. And so yeah, I hope they explore that, because I think that then puts Loki on the path to becoming this like anti-hero that we see him become, and then by the end, hero, right? So yeah, I don't know.
I want to shout out 2 very good jokes from these episodes so far.
Yes, please.
When Mobius has to like fix Loki so he stops time slipping and turning into a bubblegum man. And Obi's like, if you do this wrong, your skin will be ripped from your body. And Mobius is really fixated on that thing. And they go into the control room, the computer's all dusty, and he's just idly writing skin in the dust.
Yeah.
Which I hope I see out in the wild. I hope that's the new wash me on the back of a dirty truck. Just skin?
Skin? And hey, we might get a live action skin boy here from Harrow County.
Just some loose. Right, we visit the timeline where Mobius did have his skin ripped from his body, and we've got Slim Good Body Mobius, and then like Skin Sack Mobius.
Yeah, he'll give Red Skull a run for his money, right?
How truly Treehouse of Horror of them to do. And there's a bit in the second episode where Casey meets OB. I'm happy with the amount of Casey we're getting this season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Casey recognizes OB. Casey has read the TVA user manual, and he asks OB to sign it. And OB's so happy. Like, yes, I'd be happy to autograph your book. And Casey says, okay, sign your name next to your picture. And then I'll draw my picture next to that.
I missed that. I didn't know he said that.
It's so slight. He just sort of mumbles it. It's just thrown away. It's so funny to me. That's so cute.
Great.
That's Case. Maybe that's Casey's dream. He's like, I look up to OB. Even if I'm just now meeting him, I've looked up to whoever wrote this book. I'd like to help out. Bring in Casey, co-author for volume 2.
Yeah, there you go. That could be something.
I want to see Casey's self-portrait. Can he draw good?
Right. The other two jokes that I liked. I did like the knock joke, that like that showbiz one, just because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so stupid, and Owen Wilson knows it. He looks like he has this genuine laugh, and I don't know if that is actually him having a genuine laugh or not. But that is some of the best acting that I have seen Owen Wilson do. Is that laugh?
That's the most cutting thing that a gentle soul like Mobius could come up with. Yeah. That is the sickest burn that Mobius is capable of.
Yep. Absolutely. And then when they are discussing the whole, like, your skin will come off, but also the, like, when you do the time jump thing, it looks disgusting. Like you're being born and dying at the same time.
Right.
And it's the elevator gag. And then he's like, and then what do you think? And it just pans over to this one girl who's just like horrified with them and their conversation.
That was so funny. I love the camera pan over to, you didn't think about it, but there could have been and is another person in this room the whole time.
Brilliant.
And that feels like what the whole show is, that it's like, we're going to take you to this thing that we never introduced you to, but it's definitely always been here and you just weren't thinking about it. Yes, we meet OB, meet the Automat. What other little nooks and crannies and fun characters are we going to get to see here?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly what else to expect from this season. I know you already mentioned some things that we've seen based on trailers and such, but I'm excited to see where it goes. 4 more episodes. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. So, do you have any other stuff that we missed that you want to touch on? Final thoughts? Anything like that?
Really looking forward to Thursday. It's been interesting having these come out at like Thursday at 8 p.m. Because it's been my
like that next day.
Right. It's been my ritual to watch everything like while I eat breakfast in the morning, because it comes out at midnight or 3 a.m. or whatever. But now I actually I can sit down at 8 p.m. like with a regular old network television show and watch it at that time, which I haven't gotten to do in a long time. I have
Primetime
appointment viewing now.
Yeah.
I can watch it later, but I can also watch it right when it comes out, because it comes out at a normal waking hour and not in the middle of the night. So that's nifty.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, yeah, I think that is about it for our thoughts and stuff for the first 2 episodes of Loki Season 2. I'm excited for episodes 3 and 4 as they come out in the next couple weeks here. So yeah, you will see us return in about 2 weeks' time to continue talking about Loki.
Right. We had some scheduling things. You were out of town for a lot of the last couple days. So the next episode might come out a little sooner. Might come out closer to when the episodes actually air.
On time for when the episode 4 comes out. And I don't know if there's anything else that's going to be on the React Core feed in the near future. There may or may not be. And then, of course, early next month is also the Marvels. Marvels next
tickets on sale
movie. So yeah, we will definitely be talking about that once the time comes as well. So keep an eye out for all of that stuff. But Melissa, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
It's still pretty fresh. I've only put 1 post on it, but you can find me at Letterboxd at WilkyWit, WilkywIT. I'm hoping to explore that more soon.
Cool. Good stuff. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on most of the social media places, and we are at the Whatnauts for most of the social media places for everything that we do here at the Whatnauts. So yeah, please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out some more of our videos right over there. That would help us out a bunch as well. And yeah, this has been number 130 of the Whatnauts Reactor Core. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.